welcome to Folklore Unlocked. I'm Austin, and I'm joined by Ethan.
Hello again, everyone.
And we're this week we are covering everybody's favorite fire-breathing mythical creature and dragons.
So, everyone probably already knows about dragons, but we'll just go over because there's different types of dragons in different cultures. So, you'd think of them being large mythical creatures, which, yes, you're correct. And Western, like, dragons like that are usually depicted of having wings, horns, and also can breathe fire. Whereas Eastern cultures, kind of like Chinese, Japanese, stuff like that, depict dragons as wingless and having four legs and being more serpentine and long, and they're also pretty intelligent. Similarities in both cultures are that dragons have the traits of felines, reptilians, mammals, avians, stuff like that. So just kind of a mishmash of different animals.
And the etymology of dragon, the English word dragon comes from the French word, I'm sure, that's spelled the same, but I'm sure it's pronounced more like dragon or something, more French, which come comes from the Latin words draconum or draco, meaning huge serpent, and dragon, and the Greek words dracon or dracontis, meaning serpent. And the Latin and Greek terms meant serpents in general and just not specifically dragons. So it meant snakes and whatever other reptiles you wanted to throw in there. And European dragons are large, fire breathing, scaly, horned, lizard like creatures. And their wings are leathery and bat like. And they've got four legs and muscular prehensile tails, whatever prehensile means. And a typical dragon in Christian culture protects a cavern or castle filled with golden treasure. And the national flag of Wales has a red dragon on it, which you can see if you're on YouTube.
Yeah, European dragons are what I more think about of dragons because especially like Game of Thrones and stuff like that, like all those dragons are more like scaly and stuff like that. I still do think of like the Chinese, Japanese kind of like long one, especially because whenever you think of parades that happen, them doing the dragon.
Yeah, and Wales has a 10 out of 10 flag for at least creativity.
Oh, I know it looked good. Whenever I saw it, I sat here, I'm like, I have to add that on there. Yeah. And something I did find cool was like in like European dragons are more destructive and stuff like that, and like fire breathy and like killing people and stuff like that. But in like Japanese, Chinese stuff like that, Korean even, they're more like nice and intelligent creatures, and sometimes they can talk. Even in Korean culture and stuff like that, they're seen as like wonderful because they sometimes like live in like ponds and lakes, rivers and stuff like that, and they're seen like to bring like rains and stuff like that. So they're good for agriculture and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. But another type of dragon, as we see more in media now, is wyverns. And instead of having four limbs, well, I guess they do have four limbs. They have two legs and then they have their two wings. Whereas the European dragons would have two legs, two arms, and then also two wings. So just take out the arms and just leave the wings. And they also have a pointed tail, which is said to be a stinger that is venomous, so they could like poison things. And wyverns are like mascots of a lot of like athletic teams, colleges, and universities like that. It was the former mascot of the Korean baseball organization, the team SK Wyverns, and the past lab Yamagata Wyverns of the Japanese Baseball League, and we have their symbol right there, their logo. It's also the coat of arms of the Portuguese House of Braganza, which I do like this coat of arms. It looked really cool. And then it's also the mascot of the Quinsegmata. Oh my gosh, Quinsegmond uh, Community College in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Well, we got a KBO and NBP NPB shout out this episode. We're not even a sports podcast.
Yeah, which I have to say, a wyvern or dragons are like a really, really great mascot to have for like a team like that. I feel like at least.
Well, the also not another dragon mascot, not a wyvern, so to speak. It's the University of Alabama Birmingham. Their team name's called the Blazers, but like their logo is like a dragon head.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Now, some stories that involve dragons or wyverns, draconic creatures first appeared in the ancient Near East mythology of ancient Mesopotamian art and literature. There's also Indo-European myths that have gods slaying dragon-like creatures. And dragon-like creatures could be like kind of like sea serpent kind of things, because as we learned before, that dragon or whatever could mean serpent or whatnot. So it doesn't actually have to be a four-legged dragon or a wyvern or something like that. And nobody is sure where the first official story of dragons actually comes from, because it comes from many different cultures. And one of the main stories I like is the story of St. George and the Dragon, which, depending on where it's told, it could be a dragon or it could be a wyvern, either way. But this is where I think most of the stories of like knights saving princesses and stuff comes from, because St. George comes into the town and a dragon's been like killing people, eating people, stuff like that. And he gets there just as they're about to sacrifice a princess to the dragon, and he goes in and kills the dragon and saves the princess. So,
Gee, I wonder where Mario gets the plot of his games from.
and something I thought was kind of funny with it is like he doesn't actually kill the dragon right there. He like stabs it in the neck and he brings it back to the town, and it's kind of like docile then. And he tells the people of the town, it's like, "Hey, I'll kill the dragon if you convert to Christianity." And lo and behold, everyone converts and he just kills the dragon there.
Like instead of what the dog do, it's what God do.
Mm-hmm. And some theories about like where the dragon myths come from and stuff like that are from like either large crocodiles or alligator reptilian things that would be seen as scary to people. And I don't know where they would have got the wings from like a large crocodile, but who knows? And dinosaur bones, because as you can see here, I have a picture of a pretty big dinosaur bone. I don't know what it come from, but if you see a bone like that, you could start thinking up stories and stuff like that. Like, oh, this could be this something here. Like, this is also where kind of like the story of giants came from, because they found big bones like this, and it's like, oh, this looks human-esque, so it could be from a huge human or a huge
and
monster.
and to put into perspective, dinosaurs weren't scientifically like I guess proven to be their own thing until forget the exact year, but it was after George Washington died.
Dang.
So that's how recent history, dinosaurs have been known to exist scientifically to us humans.
And another thing is like whenever they were putting together the bones and stuff like that, they weren't always correct on how they put the skeletons together. So there, it's one of those things they'd find just a ton of bones and be like, "Oh, we'll try to put this together." And sometimes the skeletons look nothing like what they do actually should have been, which they've gotten better with it now. At least we think so. But
Yeah, it was kind of a Cold War arms race in the dragon industry there for a bit.
mm,
It was kind of collect as many dinosaur bones and fossils as you could get and put them together and then figure out if they actually went to get together or not, like 20 years later or something. And some famous dragons throughout history are, and sorry for the pronunciation of some of these, because as you can tell, we speak English, and some of these are not English, so bear with this. The first famous dragon is Mashuhusu from ancient Mesopotamia, a Pep from Egypt, Vertra from the Rig Veda, the Leviathan from the Bible, Grand Gula from the Poitou region of France, the Python laid on the previously mentioned Wyvern, and Kolshedra from Albania, the Sagila from the Lakota tribe, Jörmungandr, Niahogar, and Fafnir from Norse mythology. A, dra- a dragon also appears in Beowulf by Shakespeare and Ozzy and Oz from ancient Persian mythology. Oh, thank God we're done with that.
now you see something that bothers me with this. Okay, is the dragon from Beowulf. Whenever I saw that on there, I'm like, it's got to have a name, right? I looked, I couldn't find a name for it. That kind of bothers me.
Yeah, it's the dragon from Beowulf.
Yeah, that's basically it.
And dragons are very popular in pop culture. There's Smog from J.R.R. Tolkien's novel and the movies based on the novel The Hobbit. They are also seen in the Harry Potter series of books, movies, games, and they're also seen in the Game of Thrones, House of Dragons, I guess, universe. They also play a big importance in the inheritance cycle. Aragon, eldest, Bersinger, and inheritance. Also, they're kind of a titular character in Dungeons and Dragons, and in Pokemon, there's an entire dragon type. So I think dragons are very well represented in pop culture.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely.
And my thoughts is that dragons are just misidentified bones or fossils, or misidentified flying animals that people saw from a distance. or maybe they were dinosaurs that were still walking around that died out since then. I don't know. I'm just throwing a theory out there.
Yeah, I'm kind of like Austin there. While I do like the idea of dragons, I don't think they actually exist. They look wonderful, and especially now in like popular movies and stuff like that. I do love the movies, and I like watching them. But like in real life, yeah, I don't think they actually existed at all. Most likely, kind of like Austin said, misidentified bones and stuff like that, and combined with really creative storytelling from people that were like, oh, trying to figure out, make theories and stuff like that about like, oh, what did this thing look like and everything, and they just got they made a cool like fantasy creature, but they were very wrong. So
Well, I think that just about covers our episode on dragons. And starting next week, we'll have part one of a two-part, I guess, mini series. And part one is dealing with changelings. So, any last words this week, Ethan?
notice. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Well, thanks for watching or listening. If you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. If you're on Spotify, drop us a follow, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. Bye, everyone.